Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all well. This is Lifestyle Critic, where we break down movies and TV shows into their core elements. And in this video we are going to be reviewing Songbird, which is a recently released science fiction action thriller based film that explores what a dystopian future could look like if the COVID-19 pandemic was totally out of control. Now I can see why people found the premise of this movie a little bit insensitive, and I can also see the criticism in terms of they didn't really maximize the concept that they had in this film. But that being said, if you do view it from the point of view that it's a Michael Bay action movie that's been inspired by the coronavirus, then I think it's alright, despite the fact that it does focus a little bit too much on the romantic plot of this movie. But that being said, let's get on with the review for Songbird. So from a storyline point of view, the year is 2024, which means the COVID-19 pandemic has lasted for 4 years and has now mutated into the COVID-23 virus. This is even more contagious than before and is also more lethal than before and is totally airborne, so people really do have to stay in their home. People have to also do a daily virus scan through their mobile phone. If they're successful with this, they get to live another day. However, if the mobile app detects a virus in them, then the Department of Sanitation break into their house and take them to a Q-zone camp, which is a bit of a concentration camp that is kind of forcing them to get better, or unfortunately kind of left to die. So the setting of this film is very, very grim. It centers on a character called Nico, who is a motorcycle courier driver, and he is actually fully immune from this disease and has an immunity bracelet to identify himself as being immune. He has a virtual relationship with a character called Sarah, who is self-isolating with her grandmother, who then becomes sick. There is also a rich couple who have a daughter with an autoimmune disease, and there is a YouTube singer as well. And the film kind of explores what happens when all of these different characters' lives get a bit interconnected and the individual fight for survival and what certain humans will do to take advantage of this situation. So from a storyline point of view, the setting is actually pretty interesting. So from a cast and characters point of view, Songbird has actually got a really impressive cast attached to the film. Now this was filmed in the beginning bits of the COVID-19 pandemic, so it could have either been because there wasn't that much work to go around, or because the script really attracted great talent to the project. But either way, Songbird has a great cast attached to it, and let's go through them one by one. So first up we have KJ Apa, who plays the main lead in this film, Nico, who is the motorcycle courier driver that has a virtual relationship with his girlfriend called Sarah. Now because of the isolation and lockdown rules, the two of them can't really meet, so it's really interesting to see how they have a relationship in these very crazy times. Now the Nico character has a really, really big heart and will do anything to protect the Sarah character, which takes him on a very dangerous path. And I just feel like KJ Apa really does step up to the plate in this role, and he does a really, really great job as a Nico character. He obviously does a really great job in Riverdale as the Archie Andrews character, although in the latest season Archie was definitely overshadowed by Betty, Veronica and Jughead, so it's really great for KJ Apa to show the world his great acting abilities. Next up we have Sofia Carson, who plays the character of Sarah, who is Nico's virtual girlfriend, and she is also caring for her grandmother, who then gets infected by the COVID-23 virus, and then you can kind of explore what this character does. I do feel like they could have done a little bit more with her, but that being said, the final act of this movie involves her in a really intense chase sequence in the final act of this movie, which is really, really great. Next up we have the main villain of this film, played by Peter Stormare, who is a character called Emmett. And he is super layered, very, very interesting character. But he is also immune like the Nico character, and his position is the head of the sanitation department. So he is the one that's enforcing getting everyone taken that has the virus and taking them to the concentration Q-zone camps. You find out a lot more about this character in the final act of this movie, and you can also really see the scary side of what people in power will do. We then have Demi Moore and Bradley Whitford, who play a rich couple called Piper and William Griffin, and they are a rich married couple with a daughter who has an autoimmune disease. We then have Alexandra Daddario, who plays a YouTuber in this film that gets involved with Piper and William Griffin. We then have Craig Robinson, who plays Nico's boss, and then finally we have Paul Hauser, who is a bit of a drone expert and ex-military army man. So from a cast and characters point of view overall, like I said, Songbird is very impressive. So from a visuals point of view, you know, this isn't a massive high budget, big blockbuster movie. It's a bit more of a focused film that would explore what could happen if the COVID-19 pandemic went out of control. And as such, is very grim and very post-apocalyptic. But that being said, you know, because it's something that we can relate to because of what's happening in the world right now, it is actually a little bit believable. And they've got really interesting new inventions in this film. For example, the app that I spoke about before that has a daily virus check of all of the people in the United States. There's also a really interesting delivery device that the courier would put something into. It does a virus check on that, cleans it, and then delivers it safely to the people inside the home, which I thought was really, really interesting as well. And based on the way they did the filming in this movie, you can tell that they had a very limited crew, that they were filming kind of 1 or 2 people per set, and that they obviously were not able to film the masses of people, crowd scenes of loads of people in the Q-zone camp. So actually they left that bit to your imagination. So from a visuals point of view, whilst it is very grim, obviously, I actually think it worked really well for the setting of this movie. So from a comparison point of view, you know, the instant film that you can compare this one to is definitely Contagion. They're both a bit medical related, they're a bit post-apocalyptic, and they both have a bit of a romance story in there. They have characters that are taking advantage of the situation. So they are very similar. I would say Songbird has a little bit more of an action thriller aspect to it and is less medical focused than Contagion was. You can also compare it to The Purge a little bit as well, in terms of people taking advantage of a very grim situation. This is definitely where they could have pushed the film a little bit more. I mean, in the final moments of the film, you do see one of the characters really allowing the power to get to their head and really creating an us and them society. So I do feel like they could have done a little bit more social commentary about this aspect of the film, but in terms of comparison, you can definitely compare it to Contagion and The Purge. So overall, I did really enjoy Songbird for what it is. You know, it's a lot better than people give it credit for. Granted, they definitely could have done a lot more with the premise of this movie and really showed the dark side of how people are acting in this crazy scenario. But that being said, you know, I do feel like it had a really great cast attached to it. It had really intense action moments in there as well. And I just feel like KJ Apa did a brilliant job in leading the film from the front and was really engaging from start to finish. And so for all of those reasons, I am going to give Songbird a solid 5.5 out of 10. I'd love to hear what you think, so please let me know in the comment section below. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing you in my next video.